Okay, so now that I've established that this works, I'm going to do a tutorial on how I draw heads. I'm going to do both women and men. If I stutter a lot, I apologize. I have one. So let's get started. First thing, I'll do a female head first. First, when it comes to anime female heads, they tend to be wider and smaller. So, oh, this is too big. You can also use a circle tool for this, but I like to just draw it myself. And we're going to do a line down the middle because we're going to do a forward facing head first. So what I normally do is I'll have two layers, and on the bottom layer I'll have just this, like an egg shape. Do an egg shape and then lower the opacity, and then I'll go to the other layer. I didn't need to add another one, but and then I'll draw two lines slightly curved. So depending on the size of this face you want, I usually put the eyes go in the middle, so they're about right here. Actually, but that I don't do guidelines as much as I used to, so I'm gonna put that there, and then I'm gonna go and start curving the face down, like this. So now you have the cheeks and the chin. Also, a good tip to flip your drawing to see if, to make sure that it looks right, because you can normally tell if it's wonky or off if you flip it. So now the eyes are on this line, and so are the ears. So the ears are gonna go here. I like to do this kind of a shape for the ears, just to get started, like that. And then for the eyes, we're gonna put little markers for where they are. In between the eyes, there's a distance, like the same distance between each eye as the length of the eye is the distance between them in the middle. So when it comes to eyes, we always go off the basic human shape, which is like a sideways egg. Oops. The top of the eye is always on that line. So they're about even right there. That's about the same. I like to just look here and here to see if they're about the same length, which seems like it's a bit longer. So we have that now. And then for the eyes, you can, again, it really depends on what shape you want, but for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna go with a basic anime eye shape that I do. I don't typically do the very big moe eyes, and you can edit the eyelashes to go over, because eyelashes can extend upon the face. When I do the second eye, I like to flip it because it just makes it easier for me. It's okay if you don't get them even. It's drawing faces front ways is extremely frustrating, especially because, you're trying to get it right and it takes forever. I like to put little eyelashes down here as well. And then these eyelid over there. Oops. Now you've got your eyes. Hang on, I need to erase these. Now you've got your eyes. The nose, which I actually learned as a comment that somebody left, but the nose goes on is even with the ears, which is something I never figured out, which is pretty cool. And then the smile, it goes closer to the nose than it does to the chin. So there's the face, the eyes that one's a bit low, bit off. So when it comes to the iris, again, it really depends on the character, but I tend to just draw it so they're ovals a bit. Like this. Okay, those aren't super even, but... And then for eyebrows, I just do a line, then a little, like a teardrop on the side. Sorry, my voice is not doing it today. Fix up the eyes again, because they're not super even. Which again, unless you have the symmetry tool, they're not going to be perfectly even. You can copy and paste and flip them if you want. That's probably an easier way, but for drawing's sake, I'm doing this. And then for the ears, I normally just add a line here, lump, clump, and then that, and do that the other side. As for the neck, I struggle with necks. They go about here on female faces, which I say is like the middle of the eye, right here, and then you have the shoulder muscles, and then you have the collarbone. So it's not like a perfectly straight line down. You have the muscles here, and then you have the collarbone, which looks like this, and then you have the muscles here, and then you slowly just make that look a little bit more natural, and there you have a girl. Now we're going to delete that, and we're going to move this one off to the side. Actually, first, the hairline is about here. I always like to draw it on there. So there we go, there's that. I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna show you 3/4 view. I'm gonna do 3/4 view now, which is like a side view, which is most artists' favorite way to draw from what I've heard. So there's that, and we're gonna do it like this. Circle, and then the guideline, which is, remember, faces are spheres, so do this, and then lower the opacity. Actually, no, first you're gonna do the egg thing, but the egg doesn't go all the way around the circle because the back of your head sticks out. Like if you look at a skull, if you look at it from the side, your head's like this. You've got this back bit out here, so the head doesn't go that way, and then the ear is about here on the line. So now you've got that egg shape that you want, and then there's the forehead, and then here's the eyes, and then since we're drawing a girl, I typically tend to make their faces a bit rounder, so then we're gonna get the jawline. It's like right about here. I honestly struggle with the jawline a lot, so we're going to make the head. I'm gonna draw the ear, which is like this shape, just to do a simple, and then do the ear inner part. And now the eyes are a bit tricky when it comes to this. So this one is gonna look squished because I always do this one first. So you're gonna do like, it's gonna be almost like you squished it. And then this one is gonna be like a big version of just a normal eye version, like this. See, if you look at the pupils, so basically this eye has gone from this in the straight view to this in a side view to make up for the proportions and the difference and stuff. So there's that. The nose again, ear line, which the ear line matches with this one, so it's gonna be like, or so more down here actually. That was a really useful tip. I'm really glad they left that comment. And then you're just gonna do the same thing with the eyebrow. It's rounder, it's squished, so it's not gonna be as long, and it's gonna be more curved. The eyelash can go off the side. And this eye isn't wide enough. Just fix it. And I always draw the mouth slightly to the side. Mouth is closer. Like that. Actually, the eyes, this one's a bit too flat. And just you can make changes as it goes on. I highly recommend doing that because at some point you'll figure out, like, something looks wrong and you can fix it. And if, because sometimes it just doesn't look right for some reason. And then there's the head. hairline is here, and you have the where most people do have a little bit of hair right here. So I'm gonna go down there, and then hairline up here. Also, hairlines change depending on the character as well, because you know you might want to have someone with a bigger forehead or a smaller forehead. This is just generic. And then there's the shoulder blade. Next at the side are a little bit different. The shoulder blade, the shoulder muscle follows that line as well, which is like a curve. So, and there's your other head. We're gonna delete that. We're gonna move that one up there with the other one. Now for men, it's basically the same thing, just longer, and the eyes are narrower. And again, it really depends on the character, because, you know, sometimes you might want a very feminine looking guy, or just a guy that's not like that. But I guess we're gonna do this, and then the egg again. Same, pretty much the same for the egg. And we're gonna go here, and we're gonna start doing the cheeks. I find men a bit harder, because men are more square than they are round. And it's easier to pivot your wrist for a rounder face shape, but for men, they're a little bit trickier because they're more narrow. Again, this is like a generic face. This isn't like how all faces look, but it helps to just get basics. Okay, so we're gonna just fix that a little bit because that's a bit off. Men tend to have sharper chins. They have like a tiny dip in the chin. And remember not to overcorrect, because my biggest mistake I used to make was if I was trying to do the dip in the chin, I would go like pretty much like that, and I'd be really confused. But it's really only slightly like this, very slight or wider. So we're gonna go up. I need to draw the eyeline here. Again, eyes are in the center of the head, so are the ears. It also depends on the character that you're going for. Just do that ear's a bit bigger than the other one. And the nose, men have a slightly like more drawn on the nose usually. You don't have to, but it's just how people do it usually. And then do the eyes again. Men again have narrower eyes. I'm gonna do more of a generic for this one. Just a generic men face. And there's the double eyelid. Men are tended to be drawn with bigger eyebrows, with more of like an angular shape to them as a teardrop. But again, it's up to you because it's your character. Smile. Oh, that eye's a bit off. This eye's a bit wonky. This is just something I personally do, but I put like a line right here. Only on like older characters though, not really on younger characters. And we're gonna do a flip. Hairline. Do a flip to make sure that looks alright. The eyes are a bit off, or at least the pupil parts are, so I'm going to just erase that one. And there we go. And men have wider necks, so they're gonna be more of here, and then there's the muscle. There's the shoulder muscle. Might be a bit longer actually, because collarbone. Like that. Again, this comes with practice. It comes with muscle memory more than it does knowing what you're doing, as I'd like to say it. So there we have a male face, and we're going to put him up there with the girls. I'm gonna actually just use this one again and erase that part. Right, actually, yeah, I'll just. For men, so we're doing the egg again, like that, the eye line, ear. So for men, I tend to do this a little bit differently with men because they tend to have more detailed features when it comes to drawing. So I do this twice. I go here, and normally you see the egg, the face, your mouth and nose are slightly pushed out further than, you know, so in reality, like this part right here is a little bit more forward than this part. So when you're doing these, sometimes you might want to just like add this because it helps a lot with figuring out, because that's where the nose is, the middle of the nose. So you do that, and then, okay, so go like that, and then this jawline. Again, I find men trickier, so this is gonna take a minute. So we're gonna do that with them, and then over the head. Again, you need to like finagle it and make it, I don't know where I got that word from, but you need to just mess with it and check, because again, men have different, like they tend to put the eye indent for men, which is like a very slight dip, and then there's the cheekbone, and that's the thing I've always struggled with doing because I have a very round face in person, and we all tend to draw, or we all tend to, when we start drawing, since we look at ourselves so much, we tend to draw characters that look more like ourselves. And again, we're gonna squish the eye a bit up here. And then this one's not turning out that great, but it's okay. See, normally chins are where I struggle in particular, and then it normally takes me a couple tries to get them right, and that's okay, because, you know, that's the life of an artist. Sometimes you just gotta fix stuff, and sometimes you gotta, you know, learn how to do stuff differently, and that's okay. I'm gonna do the squish again. We're just gonna fix that and do like that. There we go. And that looks a little bit better. So the chin's kind of huge for anime. So just kind of like that, and then jawline, and erase this. Men are so hard to draw. Men's faces in particular are so hard to draw after you've drawn girls. And again, their necks are wider, so you're gonna do that. Also, they have an Adam's apple, so from the side you want to put like a slight bump, and they tend to go like this down to the collarbone, and then just, this one's a bit messy compared to the others. This doesn't look that great. Do that. Just this flat jaw. Their jaw tends to be flatter than women, because this is why I like drawing NB characters. There you go. So, and then there's the hairline up here, sideburns, and that would be the tutorial for drawing faces. So yeah, actually I'm just gonna move this if I can find here it is. Okay. That would be the tutorial for drawing faces. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being a Patreon. I'm still new to doing this, so I hope it was good tutorial. Thank you. Bye.